What was your reaction when you sobered up the next morning?
One of the things that conservatives are really good is they're good at making us kind of like accept how reality is. And what we're fighting for is like if 0 is neutral and 10 is good and negative 10 is bad, we should always be fighting for 10. But the conservatives have mind fucked into like fighting for -2 while they're fighting for like -8. And we're just in this weird world where we're not even really, like the ground is so uneven. Like in my mind, the only acceptable outcome for that election would have been bare minimum like a Reagan tier, like 49 state, if not 50 state sweep. Everything that Trump has done is just so far beyond the pale that like even if she would have won all 7 swing states, I would still be incredibly disappointed in this country. So
like we knew it was 50-50 going into it, but the thought of a second Trump term was still unfathomable to me. Not like statistically, like I knew that there was a chance, but just the thought of the dude who couped the Capitol, genuinely going back to the Capitol and swearing an oath to the Constitution and putting his hand on the Bible one more time, it's almost an unfathomable thought.
It's crazy.
Did you have like an oh shit moment the next morning where like this can't be the reality? It was like the worst fucking timeline.
I think I just spent so much time online. I always know that it can be. Yeah, it's always possible.
I remember my oh shit moment, and like I took it well. I didn't really care. I was on stream most of the night and I was just like chilling. But afterwards, there was a moment where I was sitting there. I was like, Elon Musk and RFK Jr., these motherfuckers basically just rolled us. Like they won.
The Elon stuff is so crazy, but I think I'd already like been dealing with that for like the months leading up to it.
Yeah.
Like the fact that, do you remember when it must have only been like half a year ago when Elon was tweeting out the fact that I upset the right and the left the same amount is actually so important and it shows how objective I am, right? Do you remember him tweeting
It was like
that?
8 months before the election, he was saying he's not going to donate to either side.
Yeah. And then he's like, $1 million if you're from a swing state, maybe you enter a raffle, and if you vote for whatever, if you sign up to vote or whatever.
Is he fucking with us? So when he posts this photo, and it's like after the election, it was a photo of the U.S. map, and he said, "Look at all the red voters," and he doesn't understand the population density of cities. He's being disingenuous there, right? Like there's no way.
I legitimately can't tell. I cannot tell with Elon. Like Trump, I legitimately believe, and I would put money on it that Trump is like like
he's dumb, yeah.
He's below standard intelligence.
Yeah.
I don't believe that Trump is. For Elon, I super can't tell because he just makes so many stupid fumbles. Like this whole video game Path of Exile shit and the stuff with Asmongold is like, this is so cringe.
Yeah.
I can't believe this.
Sometimes I think that for as much of an idiot Trump is, he did kind of roll the Democratic Party twice. And honestly, 2020 was kind of an outlier. Like Biden won by what was it, 11,000 votes in Georgia or whatever, and that was mainly due to the pandemic. Close. Yeah, so like for as much of an idiot Trump is, he kind of does out-strategize us.
No, he doesn't.
Lot. You don't think so?
He's just a good guy in the right place at the right time, I think. The Republicans as a whole have been working really hard to build the advantages that they enjoy now.
But like so here's a few things. I remember in 2016, Rachel Maddow did this. I got Trump's tax returns. Stupid. I finally got the tax returns.
And it was like 2 pages of a 1040 from like 2011.
2005, and he actually paid, I think, $40 million on like $170 million. So like it was actually in his favor. And there are now theories that Trump's team released that. So maybe this isn't Trump. Maybe his team knows how to outplay the media. But then that undermines the credibility of the media. And also, when we call him a felon over and over and over, we thought that was like a really good own. He's a fucking felon. That actually plays in favor of him because his whole thing is these institutions are going to start targeting me. The institutions are going to begin to target you. I'm just standing in the way. They're all corrupt. All these corrupt institutions don't want me back in the presidency. So when we say that he's a felon, it's almost like we're marketing for him. And I'm not saying that he's some like fucking 40 chess master.
That's not a 40 chess master.
It's just like...
That's like saying... That would be like me saying like, guys... After this vacation I take in Cancun, all of my haters are going to call me a murderer and a rapist. And then I go to Cancun and I like murder a bunch of people and I come back and it's like, look at what they're saying. And then you're like, God, Destiny's like a fucking, he's actually like a political mastermind. Like, how is he able to maneuver? It's like, no, that's not being a political mastermind. The real mastery that conservatives have done, and Trump doesn't get credit for this, the real mastery that conservatives have done is conservatives have done a really good job at casting themselves as the villain and like the victor simultaneously at all points. And they're so good at occupying both of these roles. And somehow the the centrist people got like sucked into this. And now you've got these Silicon Valley people that are all worshiping Trump. And then you've got all these like the UFC people and the MMA people and all the athletic people and then the fucking like all these different communities somehow all got sucked into the anti-woke communities, and it's just super cringe because now you're in this world where the right will always suck them off, the centrists will always suck them off, and then the left is like so scared of being called Trump derangement syndrome that they won't be critical of him. And so like the final example, like whenever people say like, look at how bad the mainstream media is, They don't mean the mainstream media. They just mean CNN and MSNBC. You've never in your life heard one of these centrists, one of these like fucking losers on their knees with a fucking cocksuck collar like fucking Joe Rogan. You've never seen one of these guys ever say the mainstream media is just in a horrible state right now. Did you see what happened on Fox News? They don't say this. It's always CNN and MSNBC. So fuck these guys.
So that being said, what approach? I'm going to put you on the spot like you were interviewing the DNC chair people. I didn't get to watch many of those, but I'm assuming you guys talked about this. What approach should the party take over the next few years to make sure we're effective? I feel like we don't have a punch right now.
We need way more slurs.
More slurs?
Absolutely.
Like, are you being like ironic or unironic? Like, if we
half ironic.
You think that if we had a candidate who said,
I think that if Kamala Harris would have called Trump the N-word on stage,
Okay.
I think he would have called her the N-word. I think that would have been her pop-off moment.
yeah,
He absolutely would have lost his mind.
but like actually,
And she could get away with it too, so it would be fine. That would have just been perfect.
he was close during that Black Journalist Conference. He was close. Did you read that Washington Post article where after the debate with Biden, Trump was on his plane and he wanted to tweet out, "My new nickname is Joe Biden, retarded Joe." Did you read that article? And then Susie Wiles and Chris LaCivita, his campaign managers and stuff, had to like reel him in basically and be like, "Hey, dude, you just had a huge win." Trump is just like innately drawn towards chaos. It feels
And
like
conflict
sometimes.
and ego. He's fragile, yeah.
So he wanted to call him Joe Biden. Honestly, I think he still would have won. He still
It
would have
wouldn't have mattered. There's
Yeah.
nothing that, because we all view it from, the thing too that's like hard is because we're playing with such different standards, is that like Trump can fail infinitely because to us it's like abhorrent, but to the other side it's literally fucking epic and hilarious every single time. Like if Trump were to accidentally push the wrong button when he was ordering like his daily Diet Coke or whatever, or his daily blowjob from any of the tech giants that now are on their knees for him daily, and he would accidentally like shoot a missile at some like city in Iowa, it would be fucking epic and hilarious.
Yeah.
That would just be it. They would literally all laugh. There's like nothing that Trump can do. Here's like a good question. Do you still go out and do these interviews with people?
Yeah.
This is a good question. If it doesn't get you on any FBI lists, you would ask a conservative, is there any way that Donald Trump could die where you wouldn't think it was a conspiracy? I bet they wouldn't be able to list a single way.
Yeah, that's a scary thought.
If he had a heart attack, would you think he really did?
Yeah.
If he got in a car accident, if he got shot, obviously not. That's conspiracy, right? If his plane crashed, no way. That's conspiracy. There's no way that Donald Trump could die where it wouldn't be a conspiracy.
But like unironically, beyond slurs, beyond just hurling slurs at the other side, what do you think the strategy should be? Like if you were an advisor.
I think some of it is, so I feel like all the worlds have merged into one line. You ever watch Steins Gate?
No.
Fucking God, you're such a fucking zoomer.
I am
Fuck.
22. I don't know. This is old man stuff.
Okay, imagine there's like a Skibbity Toilet episode.
Okay, I'm imagining it. Yeah.
All the realities have merged, and I think all the advice for being like a good YouTuber, a good president, I think it's all the same. One thing that Trump does really well, okay, is he's like, he feels relatable, and that he doesn't feel like a stiff, like if you listen to Kamala Harris talk, she sounds like Vosh.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like sometimes like everything is like, I want it to be a quote that's going to be written down in a history book. I've seen Kamala do, I wish I remember what, but I've seen her do like interviews where she's like more loose, and she's actually a million times more
She's a cool
personable.
person, yeah. But
Yeah.
she, like, whoever her advisors were, also with Tim Walz, when they brought him in, he was supposed to be this relatable dude, and they kind of just like canned him in a way where he had to continue doing the same few lines over and over. They told him to stop doing the couch thing. It just, you want to know something interesting? I feel like I cut you off, but I didn't mean to.
No, go ahead.
While I was flying here, I was listening to Ezra Klein's new podcast. I don't listen to him much, but it's like all about attention within the Democratic Party and how the Republicans have found out how to dominate attention. The attention of the public.
Yeah, this is what this is what I was going to, going into the having like more personal people. The second thing I was going to say, like one of the things that helps me so much is streaming. And if you do regular video content, because it keeps you at the forefront of everybody's mind, and you can push through things and you can keep being relevant, and you're always going to be making better career steps because you're getting live feedback for everything that you're doing. So you can see in real time how people feel about everything. And Trump is so good at being on Twitter and all that shit all the time that he's always in people's minds and people are always talking about him. So you need somebody that's going to be, I don't want to say bombastic, but at least somebody that's a little bit more present like that. AOC was for a while.
Yeah. Have you seen the photo of Trump and Obama sitting next to each other? And I think I saw this on your Reddit. There was a line going across, and they have the same exact skin tone now because Trump is literally just a brown. But
I have not seen that,
But yeah, okay. Regarding attention, they were saying that like the interesting thing about Elon Musk isn't even his wealth anymore. I mean, of course that's interesting, but it's the amount of attention he controls on a day-to-day basis by owning Twitter.
Yeah.
And that Democrats, we don't have anyone like that. Like AOC, I think, is the closest thing we have to somebody who's incredibly just like charismatic. You listen when she's speaking, but other than that, we've got a lot of old politicians and the right, and like all of Trump's cabinet It's just full of TV personalities. Pete Hegseth, he plucked off of Fox News. I'm pretty sure Dr. Oz has a position. All these people.
He does. Oz is going to be the head of the FDA.
Oh, great. I wouldn't want him anywhere else, to be honest. But like, they're so good at controlling the attention of the public. And we're about to live in like a propaganda society, aren't we? We already do, but like
We already do.
It's about to get bad.
Yeah. It was really bad when Elon Musk was allowed to buy X and then use it to support a single candidate. But
Yeah, but we couldn't telegraph that before. Like, we didn't see 2 years ago that he was actually, like you were just saying, like he was tweeting out, oh, I want to make both sides mad. And yes, it was clearly nefarious and clearly not something that should happen, but nobody knew he would go full-throated MAGA, like full-throated.
the issue is because we've allowed conservatives to lie so much and for so long that they can get away with doing anything because they're just going to say that the Democrats did it first.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do. They say it with Elon Musk, like, oh, well, the Democrats are already doing this. If anybody does anything horrible, then the response is always like, oh, what? Like if you say like, Donald Trump is going to kill half of America, and they'll be like, oh, what, like Biden already did? Like Obama already did?
Yeah.
Like the Democrats already did? So he's literally free to do anything. They say that when it comes to Kash Patel and all the potential investigations that could happen and everything. They're like, oh, well, you guys already did lawfare. And it's like, okay.
Are you saying Obama didn't genocide half of America? Are you trying to whitewash that?
With no trial.
Yeah.
Obama genocided innocent American lives.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Tim Pool.
Where's Tim Pool? Yeah.
No.
It was absolutely fucking disgusting. Thank God we have those brave people that still protect American freedoms, like those 3 guys that stopped that horrible burglar, Ahmaud Arbery.
Yeah, dude, we got to hold them accountable. And, I feel like that's just a platitude that we say a lot. Oh, they need to be held accountable. But how do we hold them accountable, Republicans? Other than just like making content. I make a bunch of videos a day, but how do we hold Republicans accountable for their lies or flip-flop?
I'll tell you how do we hold them accountable, but it's going to be when we're on Kick later. I can't say it on YouTube.
Okay, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I mean...
The realistic non-doomered version is the Democrats have 2 years to get their shit in line right now because we're not governing anything. We don't have any Congress and no executive branch. So the Democrats have 2 years to kind of get their shit in line. Usually incumbent parties lose their midterms, right?
Yeah.
Incumbent lose their midterms, right? Or the party in power usually loses the midterms. So we have an opportunity to do really well in the midterms. Trump has 2 years. One thing from the media perspective is like there has to be a careful tracking of and accounting of all of the promises that Trump made and absolutely will not keep. Here's another good question for conservatives. They won't have an answer, but ask a conservative, what could Trump do that would be like too far for you or not okay for you? Because the deficit's not going down. The debt's absolutely not going down, right? We are going to continue to deficit spend. Trump wants to extend the tax cuts. He's not going to pair that with any spending cuts.
The prices are going down, right?
Nope, that's not going to happen. Elon lied about finding $2 trillion in spending.
Yeah.
Now he cut it down to $1 trillion in spending. It's going to be no trillion in spending because they want to increase the largest line item in our discretionary budget, which is the military. They're talking about huge increases for the military. So all of that was a lie.
Yeah.
No wars, I guess that was just a funny meme. That was a lie. I know it's like a joke now, but I really do feel like historically it is absolutely fucking insane that Donald Trump is joking. I did it. He's not joking. That Donald Trump is seriously threatening our allies, our NATO allies, with military action to conquer like fucking Greenland. That's unhinged and unbelievable.
The real blackpilling part was seeing how quickly conservatives fell in line. Like, yes, Matt Walsh was like maybe trolling when he was like, we could bloodlessly take Canada within a week. But then Ben Shapiro unironically went on a show and he was like, we should take the moon too. We were the first to the moon. Why wouldn't we take it? Then he starts like giggling a bit and he's like, we should take Greenland. It's not a joke. They're being dead ass.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Like Trump can do literally anything.
Yeah.
Like he could bomb a small town in Iowa and it'd be like, oh, maybe Superman should have saved them. Isn't that where he's from? Like it would just be a joke. Everything is a fucking joke.
It was a liberal town.
Meanwhile, I've got that picture seared into my mind, the close-up of Biden with the red flag, with the red light behind him. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, clearly. It was in Philadelphia. Clearly fascistic.
And people are like, oh my God, this is the worst. This is the goddamn worst, most fascist fucking speech I've ever seen in my fucking life. Meanwhile, Trump is suing fucking pollsters. Oh, that's another big one. Always remember, I think you just have to keep the cases in mind. Like also, liberals need to bully way more.
Yeah. That goes back
Dave
to the
Rubin
slurs.
and Tim Pool should be gone from this industry. There is no way that either of them should ever have the audacity to show their face on fucking media after taking $5 million from an enemy of the country to do media. Because there's only two options. One, they either knew it, right? Which Tim Pool and Dave Rubin knew they were taking money from Russia, 100%. Okay, if you think I'm lying, sue me. All right, number one. Or two, they didn't know, and their message just happened to line up so perfectly with Russian propaganda that they were getting paid money without even realizing they had to change their message, which should be equally humiliating and some cause for reflection.
That goes back to the slurs. There should be a slur just for Tim Pool. Like I don't even know.
We'll think of some.
We'll
For our
think of some off
conservatives.
camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Actually unbelievable that those guys are. I can't even imagine how fucking humiliating it would be. Like if I was getting paid $5 million from fucking Israel or from fucking like Soros, and I didn't know. I had no idea. Like it just, I can't believe that they got away with nothing on that. That's just insane to me.
Yeah.
There was one. They each did like 1 10-minute segment where they're like, "We're the victim here." Like, can I be the victim for fucking $5 million? Jesus,
Dude, Vladimir Putin is salivating when he sees the current state of America and the discourse. I mean, he's taking a lot of wins. It feels like, I don't mean to be dramatic, but it feels like we're kind of in an invisible war with them, and we're losing really badly right now. Like Vladimir Putin is just winning. And the liberals, I mean us, like we've got to have more of a punch. And I know that you were being kind of ironic about the slur thing, but I actually think that we need to start saying the word like,
is really what it all comes back to, isn't it?
that's why we lost. That and
Do you remember the some woman I think goes up to some white guy with like an axe who's just like chopping the ground, and she's like, "We need you again, white guys."
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
That's some Zoomer shit. I'm not into that. That's some young...
Shut the fuck up.
But
You're zooming so fucking hard.
nah, but this dude said Biden says MAGA Republicans once, and he clarifies not all. I know this is a trite talking point, but he's like, not all Republicans.
Not even a majority. Not even a majority. He hedges. Biden does a classic destiny mistake of hedging, not knowing that people are gonna fucking clip chimp the shit out. Meanwhile, oh my God, I don't know when this talking point emerged. I started to see it like 6 months ago. Do you ever see this bullshit ass? Okay, this bullshit talking point of I switched sides when I heard when I found out the truth about the both sides had good people quote.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know that that's bullshit, right? Trump did say that. He said there were good people on both sides of a Nazi march. He was specifically talking about the Nazi march. He was specifically talking about the people that had gone to the Nazi march that were marching with the Nazis. And he said there were good people on both sides of that. One, this is just true. So I heard this talking point like 6 months ago, and then I went back to the original speech. It's like, okay, well, maybe I did only hear a part of it. And I listened to the whole thing. It's like, okay, yeah, this is clearly what he's saying. I don't know why even some of the liberal fact checkers were saying this is a lie, which is not a lie. Yeah. But even more to this, somebody showed me this video yesterday because I came up with PF Young, where fucking Ben Shapiro is on his podcast talking about it. And he's like, I don't know why people are like trying to whitewash this for Trump. Trump clearly said at a Nazi march, he was clearly talking about the Nazis that were marching. They're the only people that were Nazis. And Ben Shapiro even like had this set out perfectly. He also said January 6th was an insurrection.
He said the worst thing domestically since 9/11.
Yeah, and he said it was an insurrection one day after it happened, but he walked back on that too.
You think it kills him a little bit inside that he's like a lawyer who went to a top tier school and now he's got to run defense for this orange flag? Like, do you think it kills him or is the money too good?
I think the money's too good.
Yeah, it's fucked. We're a little bit cooked, but I think we'll be okay. I think the pendulum will swing back, right? I hope.
Well, I mean, like pendulums can only swing so far and then they break, right? So we got to hope that we...
Do you think Biden's...
Also, I don't want a pendulum swing on this because the woke shit is going to be...
The woke shit's pretty insufferable.
It's going to be crazier.